Men live in a world filled with silent battles, constant pressures, and expectations they rarely talk about. From the moment they step into society, they are conditioned to be providers, protectors, and achievers. They are expected to be strong, to keep moving forward no matter how exhausted they feel, and to bear their burdens without complaint. They are taught to suppress their emotions, to hide their vulnerabilities, and to never show signs of weakness. But underneath the exterior of strength, there are insecurities, doubts, and silent struggles that most men never voice. A man may seem confident, focused, and in control on the outside, but deep within, he craves something that very few people understand. He desires peace. Not just the absence of conflict, but the kind of inner tranquility that allows him to be himself without judgment, without expectation, and without the weight of always having to prove his worth. The world demands performance, but when a man finds a woman who offers him peace, he finds something priceless, something irreplaceable. A woman who understands this power does not create unnecessary drama. She does not bring chaos into his life. She does not constantly demand his attention in a way that drains him. Instead, she becomes a source of emotional security, a refuge from the noise of the world. She gives him the space to breathe, to exist without pressure, and to feel at ease in her presence. She doesn't add to his burdens, she helps lighten them, even if only by the way she carries herself, speaks to him, and responds to his emotions. A man does not always say what he feels. Society has conditioned him to believe that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness. He may not verbalize his need for emotional security, but he feels it deeply. He feels it in the way a woman listens to him without judgment. He feels it when she respects his silence instead of pressuring him to talk. He feels it when she stands by him, not trying to fix him, but simply being there in a way that makes him feel safe, accepted, and valued. This kind of woman is rare because many women misunderstand what men truly want. They assume men only seek beauty, excitement, or validation. While those things may attract a man initially, they are not what make him stay. What makes a man stay is the feeling of peace and emotional security that he cannot find anywhere else. He may enjoy the thrill of a new relationship, the spark of attraction, or the excitement of adventure, but when the noise fades, what he longs for is a place where he can be himself without feeling like he has to perform. This is why a woman's energy is so powerful. When a woman is calm, confident, and emotionally stable, she creates an atmosphere that a man never wants to leave. Her presence alone soothes him. She doesn't react impulsively. She doesn't bring unnecessary negativity into his life. And she doesn't let her own fears or insecurities turn into emotional outbursts that make him feel drained. She understands that her peace becomes his peace, and that her ability to remain composed, supportive, and emotionally grounded is what makes her presence addictive to him. But creating this sense of emotional security isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is perfect. It's about mastering self-awareness and emotional control. A woman who constantly lets her fears, insecurities, and emotions run wild creates instability in a relationship. A man may care for her deeply, but if he feels like he is constantly walking on eggshells around her, unsure of how she will react, unsure if she will start an argument over something small, unsure if she will bring unnecessary stress into his life, he will start to withdraw. Men don't always express it outright, but they feel deeply. A man wants to come home to a woman who doesn't make him feel like he's in another battlefield. He wants to be with someone who allows him to exhale, to let go of the weight he carries, and to feel like he is in the presence of someone who truly understands him. He wants a woman who makes his life easier, not harder. A man's peace is sacred to him. If he feels that his energy is constantly being drained, if he feels criticized, controlled, or overwhelmed by negativity, he will seek an escape. And when he finds a woman who understands the value of peace, who knows how to make him feel emotionally secure without demanding too much, he will protect that woman, cherish her, and never want to let her go. It's not about being passive. It's not about avoiding conversations or pretending problems don't exist. It's about emotional intelligence, the ability to communicate without hostility, the ability to address concerns without unnecessary conflict, and the ability to create an environment where love, trust, and peace can thrive. A woman who knows her worth does not bring chaos into a man's life because she understands that real strength is in control, not in reaction. She doesn't let small problems turn into major fights. She doesn't allow insecurities to turn into accusations. She doesn't let the fear of losing a man make her act in ways that push him away. She operates from a place of inner security, knowing that her energy alone is enough to make a man feel at home in her presence. This kind of emotional security is powerful because it is rare. Most people operate out of fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. But when a woman chooses peace over fear, when she operates from a place of self-control rather than emotional impulsiveness, she gives a man something that no other woman can replace. Respect is the foundation of a man's love, loyalty, and commitment. It is not something he merely desires. It is something he needs at his core. A man will always be drawn to a woman who makes him feel respected because respect validates his sense of purpose, his identity, and his worth. Without it, no matter how beautiful, intelligent, or loving a woman may be, he will always feel something is missing. A man spends his life striving to prove himself to the world, to his peers, to himself. He is wired to seek achievement, to conquer challenges, and to build something of value. Whether he realizes it or not, he craves recognition for his efforts. He may not always express it in words, but he feels it deeply when he is appreciated, acknowledged, and valued for what he brings to the table. This is why a woman's respect is so powerful. It feeds a man's sense of identity in a way that nothing else can. A woman who understands the power of respect does not belittle a man, criticize him unnecessarily, or make him feel small. She does not talk down to him, dismiss his ideas, or make him feel like his thoughts don't matter. Instead, she makes him feel that his presence, his leadership, and his efforts are seen and valued. She speaks to him in a way that lifts him up rather than tears him down. She acknowledges his strengths instead of constantly pointing out his weaknesses. She recognizes his ambitions rather than diminishing them. Respect is not about submission, nor is it about putting a man on a pedestal. It is about understanding how a man operates and giving him the space to be who he is without feeling like he is being constantly controlled, questioned, or criticized. When a man feels respected, he thrives. He becomes more motivated. He becomes more willing to give, to love, and to commit. But when he feels disrespected, he starts to withdraw. Many women mistakenly believe that love alone is enough to keep a man devoted, but love without respect feels empty to him. A woman can love a man deeply, but if she constantly questions his ability, dismisses his ideas, or makes him feel like he is not enough, he will feel unfulfilled. Love may bring two people together, but respect keeps them together. A woman who respects a man understands that her words carry weight. The way she speaks to him can either build him up or break him down. She does not raise her voice in anger just to prove a point. She does not insult him when she is frustrated. She does not compare him to other men in a way that makes him feel inadequate. Instead, she chooses her words carefully, knowing that a man never forgets how a woman makes him feel. A man can face criticism from the world, deal with failures in his career, and struggle with life's challenges. But if he comes home to a woman who believes in him, supports him, and speaks to him with respect, he feels like he can conquer anything. But if he comes home to criticism, nagging, and constant negativity, he will start to feel like nothing he does is ever enough. This is where many relationships begin to fall apart, not because love is gone, but because respect has eroded over time. Respect is shown in both words and actions. It's in how a woman looks at a man when he speaks, whether she listens with interest or dismisses his words. It's in how she reacts when he makes decisions, whether she trusts his judgment or constantly second guesses him. It's in how she acknowledges his efforts, whether big or small, rather than only pointing out what he hasn't done yet. A woman who understands the power of respect also knows that giving respect does not mean tolerating disrespect. It does not mean lowering her standards or ignoring her own needs. A truly confident woman knows how to set boundaries without being rude, how to express her thoughts without attacking, and how to disagree without demeaning. A man who feels respected will naturally want to give more, love more, and commit deeper. He will feel inspired to protect, provide, and cherish the woman who makes him feel valued. But when a man feels disrespected, he may not always argue, he may not always fight back. Sometimes he will simply pull away, emotionally detach, or even leave entirely. A woman who gives a man the feeling of respect holds a power over him that no other woman can replace. A man may have strength, ambition, and drive, but underneath it all, he carries burdens that he rarely shares. The world expects him to lead, to provide, to be the one who holds everything together, yet few people ever stop to ask, who supports him? Who gives him the feeling that he is not alone in his battles? A woman who understands the power of emotional support becomes irreplaceable in a man's life because she gives him something that no amount of money, success, or status can provide: the feeling of being truly understood and backed up. A man does not always say when he is struggling. He may not openly express when he feels overwhelmed, exhausted, or uncertain about his next move. He has been conditioned to suppress these feelings, to push through, and to keep going no matter what. But even the strongest men reach points where they need someone in their corner, someone who believes in them even when they doubt themselves, someone who stands beside them rather than just watching from a distance. A woman who offers emotional support does not just listen. She listens with the intent to understand, not just to respond. She does not rush to judge him, to tell him what he should have done differently, or to criticize his decisions. She gives him the space to be vulnerable without making him feel weak for it. She knows that there are times when a man doesn't need a solution. He just needs to feel like he is not alone in his struggles. Many women underestimate just how much men long for a safe emotional space, a place where they do not have to prove their worth, where they do not have to pretend that everything is fine, where they do not have to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders alone. When a man finds a woman who gives him this feeling, he cherishes her because he knows how rare it is. A woman who truly supports a man does not only stand by him when times are easy, she stands by him when he is struggling, when he is uncertain, when he is facing setbacks. She does not abandon him the moment he is not at his best. She does not make him feel inadequate when he is still figuring things out. She does not make him feel like his worth is tied solely to his success. Instead, she encourages him, reminding him of his strength when he forgets it himself. She believes in him even when he is struggling to believe in himself. A man may be surrounded by people who respect his achievements, admire his strength, or praise his success, but that is not the same as emotional support. Respect acknowledges what a man has done, but emotional support strengthens him for what he is yet to do. It reassures him that he is not in this alone. It reminds him that no matter how hard life gets, there is someone in his life who sees him beyond his accomplishments and values him for who he is, not just for what he can provide. A man feels deeply connected to a woman who understands his silent struggles. He may not always articulate what he needs, but he feels it in the way she treats him. He feels it in her patience when he is overwhelmed. He feels it in her words when she reassures him instead of doubting him. He feels it in her energy when she stands by his side, showing him that she is with him. Not just when things are good, but when life challenges him. Emotional support does not mean taking on a man's burdens or solving his problems for him. It means reminding him that he is not alone in his battles. It means being the presence that steadies him, the voice that reassures him, the energy that strengthens him. It means knowing when to give him space and when to step in with encouragement. It means understanding that a man who feels supported will move mountains for the woman who gave him that strength. A woman who supports a man emotionally does not underestimate the power of her presence. She does not think that her role in his life is small or insignificant. She knows that even when he does not say it outright, he feels her support in the way she trusts him, the way she uplifts him, the way she creates a space where he does not have to carry everything alone. She becomes his anchor, his peace, his reminder that no matter what happens, there is someone who truly sees him, believes in him, and stands beside him. A man moves with confidence when he feels appreciated. Appreciation is not just about saying thank you or recognizing his efforts. It is about making him feel that what he does matters. It is about reinforcing the idea that his presence, his actions, and his sacrifices do not go unnoticed. A man who feels appreciated will naturally want to do more, give more, and invest more in the person who makes him feel valued. Too often, men are expected to be strong, provide, and take on responsibilities without ever being acknowledged for it. They work hard, they protect, they make decisions, they carry the weight of expectations, and yet much of what they do is taken for granted. A man might not always voice this need, but deep inside he wants to know that his efforts are noticed. He wants to feel that what he does is making a difference. When he does something for a woman, whether it is as small as opening a door or as big as making sacrifices for her future, he is not just doing it for the sake of action. He is doing it because he wants to see that his actions bring joy, security, and comfort to the person he cares about. A woman who understands this power does not hold back on appreciation. She does not wait for grand gestures to express gratitude. She acknowledges the small, everyday things, a thoughtful act, a protective instinct, a moment where he stepped up without being asked. She does not assume that he should do these things. She sees them for what they are, expressions of his care, commitment, and presence in her life. A man who does not feel appreciated will begin to feel unmotivated. He may still do what is expected of him, but his heart will not be in it. Over time, this lack of appreciation can make him feel like he is just fulfilling a role rather than being genuinely valued. This is why some men pull away, not because they stop loving, but because they stop feeling seen. They stop feeling like their contributions matter. Appreciation is not just about words, it is about energy, tone, and action. A woman who appreciates a man does not just tell him, she shows him. She makes an effort to let him know that she notices the way he protects, the way he works hard, the way he puts thought into his actions. She does not minimize his efforts or make them seem insignificant. Instead, she magnifies them. She makes him feel that what he does is important and valuable. A woman who makes a man feel appreciated also understands that criticism, complaints, and constant demands will push him away. A man will go above and beyond for a woman who makes him feel good about his efforts. But if all he hears is what he is doing wrong, what he has not done yet, or how he is falling short, he will eventually stop trying. He will feel like no matter what he does, it is never enough. Over time, this drains his energy, lowers his enthusiasm, and makes him emotionally detached. A woman who truly appreciates a man knows how to balance expectations with gratitude. She may have standards, but she does not make him feel like he is constantly being measured against a list of demands. She recognizes the difference between constructive feedback and constant negativity. She understands that appreciation is a powerful motivator, far stronger than pressure or criticism. Appreciation does not mean blind praise. It does not mean ignoring flaws or pretending that mistakes do not happen. Instead, it is about focusing on what is good and reinforcing it. A woman who wants a man to continue showing up, providing, and giving his best will make sure he knows that what he does is seen and valued. She will let him know that even on the days when he feels tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain, his presence alone makes a difference. A man who feels appreciated will naturally want to give more. He will feel energized to keep striving, to keep providing, to keep being the best version of himself. But when appreciation is missing, he will feel drained, uninspired, and detached. He may still do what is expected, but he will no longer feel the same drive, the same passion, or the same sense of purpose in what he does. A woman who understands this principle makes sure that appreciation is a consistent part of the relationship, not just something expressed on special occasions. She finds ways to let him know through words, actions, and energy that what he does matters, that he is seen, and that his efforts are never in vain. A man thrives in an environment where he feels respected. Respect is more than just a word. It is an energy, a presence, a way of interacting that makes a man feel valued for who he is, not just for what he provides. A man may have strength, ambition, and ability to lead, but without respect, he feels diminished. When a man does not feel respected, he withdraws, he becomes distant, and over time he loses his drive to invest in the relationship. But when a woman makes him feel respected, he becomes more engaged, more committed, and more willing to give his best. Respect is not about submission, nor is it about ignoring flaws. It is about recognizing a man's efforts, acknowledging his strengths, and treating him with a level of regard that reinforces his sense of self-worth. A woman who understands this knows that a man's need for respect is not about his ego, it is about his core identity. When a man feels respected, he walks taller, speaks with more confidence, and carries himself with a sense of purpose. One of the most powerful ways a woman can show respect to a man is through the way she communicates with him. Words have an incredible effect on a man's mind. The tone, the choice of words, and even the energy behind them shape how he feels about himself and the relationship. A woman who constantly speaks down to a man, belittles his decisions, or questions his ability will slowly chip away at his confidence. He may not always express it outwardly, but he will feel it. And when a man feels disrespected, he does not argue. He disconnects. A man is drawn to a woman who speaks to him with a tone of belief rather than doubt, with a tone of admiration rather than criticism. A man does not need blind agreement, but he does need to feel that his perspective is valued. He needs to feel that his thoughts, opinions, and decisions are considered, even if they are not always followed. A woman who respects a man does not constantly challenge him in a way that makes him feel small. She challenges him in a way that makes him feel stronger, that makes him want to rise to the occasion. Respect is also demonstrated through trust. A man who feels trusted feels empowered. He wants to prove that he is reliable, that he is capable, that he can be counted on. But when a woman constantly doubts him, questions his every move, or assumes that he is incapable of handling certain situations, he begins to feel inadequate. Over time, this erodes his confidence and makes him feel like his presence does not hold weight in the relationship. A woman who understands the power of respect knows that trust is not just about faithfulness. It is about believing in a man's ability to lead, to make decisions, and to handle challenges. She does not undermine him or make him feel like he is constantly being watched for mistakes. She gives him room to be a man, to take action, to make choices, to step into his role without fear of constant correction. Another key element of respect is appreciating a man's efforts without comparison. Nothing makes a man feel more disrespected than being compared to another man, whether it is a past partner, a celebrity, or even a stranger. The moment a woman starts using comparisons as a way to express dissatisfaction, a man feels that his unique qualities are being overlooked. He begins to feel like no matter what he does, it will never be enough because he is being measured against someone else. A man who feels respected stays engaged. He wants to invest in the relationship. He wants to contribute. He wants to be his best self. But when respect is missing, he starts to shut down. He stops trying to lead. He stops making an effort. And eventually, he stops caring. Respect fuels a man's sense of responsibility and commitment. It makes him want to do more, to be better, to rise to his highest potential because he knows he is in the presence of someone who sees his value. A woman who understands this never uses respect as a conditional tool. She does not give it only when a man is at his best. She offers it consistently because she knows that respect is what keeps a man striving to be his best. She does not wait until he has achieved everything before she acknowledges his worth. She sees the potential in him now, speaks life into him now, and reinforces his confidence in a way that makes him want to continue growing. Respect is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can offer a man. It is what makes a man feel like he has a place in the relationship, that he is not just present, but valued and significant. A man who feels respected will always remember the woman who made him feel that way. He will cherish her, protect her, and prioritize her because he knows that respect is not something he can find just anywhere. It is rare, it is powerful, and it is the foundation of a lasting connection. A man is deeply drawn to a woman who brings him peace. The world is chaotic. It is filled with pressures, responsibilities, and unspoken burdens that a man must carry every single day. Society expects him to be strong, to lead, to provide, to protect, to never show weakness, and to keep moving forward, no matter how exhausted he may feel. But beneath the surface, every man is searching for one thing: a place where he can breathe, where he can let his guard down, where he does not have to perform, prove himself, or constantly be on edge. A woman who understands this is the woman he will never want to lose. A peaceful woman does not mean a woman who never speaks up or one who suppresses her emotions. True peace is not about silence. It is about energy. It is about the way a woman carries herself, the way she interacts, and the way she makes a man feel when he is in her presence. A man may be drawn to beauty, but he stays where he finds peace. A man who feels at ease around a woman will crave her presence more than anything. This is not about avoiding reality or pretending problems do not exist. It is about knowing that when he comes home, when he talks to her, when he spends time with her, he does not feel drained. Instead, he feels recharged. He feels that he does not have to constantly be on the defensive. He does not have to argue, explain himself, or walk on eggshells. It can simply be. Many women do not realize that a man will distance himself from someone who brings more stress into his life than peace. A man may tolerate drama for a while. He may even fight for a relationship, but his soul will always seek peace. If a man associates a woman with stress, tension, arguments, or emotional unpredictability, he will naturally begin to withdraw. He may not even realize it at first, but his instincts will guide him away from chaos and toward calm. A woman who brings peace knows how to communicate without hostility. She understands that words have power and that the way she speaks to a man can either uplift him or wear him down. She does not resort to yelling, nagging, or constant criticism. Instead, she approaches conversations with a sense of understanding. She knows that a disagreement does not have to turn into a battle. She understands that respectful communication keeps a man engaged and invested. A peaceful woman also knows how to manage her emotions in a way that does not create unnecessary conflict. This does not mean she ignores her feelings or avoids expressing herself. It means she handles emotions with wisdom. She does not allow every inconvenience, every misunderstanding, or every moment of frustration to turn into a dramatic event. She chooses her battles wisely. She knows that not everything requires a reaction, and that sometimes the best response is patience, clarity, or simply letting things go. A man will always feel drawn to a woman who makes him feel emotionally safe. The world is constantly demanding things from him: his job, his responsibilities, his family, his goals. If the relationship he is in also becomes another battle, another source of exhaustion, he will begin to retreat. A man wants to come home to peace, not another fight. He does not want to feel like every interaction is a test, an interrogation, or an argument waiting to happen. A peaceful woman also knows how to create an atmosphere that feels like home. This is not just about physical space. It is about the energy she brings. When a man is with her, does he feel calm? Does he feel like he can exhale, like he does not have to prove himself every second? A man will always cherish the woman who makes him feel that way because he knows how rare it is to find. A woman who brings peace also understands the power of support without control. A man does not want to feel micromanaged. He does not want to feel like he is being constantly corrected, criticized, or told what to do. He wants to feel that the woman by his side believes in him. That even when he makes mistakes, she does not belittle him. She encourages him to learn and keep going. She does not make him feel like a failure. She makes him feel capable. Peace is one of the most underrated yet powerful qualities a woman can offer a man. It is what makes him feel safe, what makes him open up, what makes him attach himself deeply to her. A man can find excitement, attraction, and adventure in many places, but peace is rare. A woman who can provide that will always have a special place in his life. He will seek her out, not just when things are good, but especially when things are hard. She will be his refuge, his calm in the storm, the person he trusts when everything else feels overwhelming. A peaceful woman knows the strength in her presence. She does not chase, beg, or force anything. She does not create unnecessary chaos. She carries herself in a way that makes a man feel that no matter what happens in the outside world, she is a source of stability. She does not add to his stress. She helps him handle it. And for that reason, a man will always come back to the woman who makes him feel peace.